Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to be able to meet you virtually. Maybe you could just kick off with a brief introduction. I mean, some people are going to be very familiar with the series. Some not so, might be coming to it fresh. For the uninitiated, tell us a bit about the premise of Leverage Redemption.
Well, so we're kicking off Leverage Redemption Season 2. It's about a little group of misfits. It's a kind of Robin Hood sort of adventure story where a group of criminals have come together and they've decided they don't like the balance in the world, and we're going to take on all the kind of evil corporations and help the sort of everyman when they get into a hole of being exploited or wronged in any way. And we each have a different specialty. My specialty is that I'm a mastermind and I'm a grifter, so I wear lots of disguises, put on funny voices. We have an expert hacker, we have an expert sort of acrobatic thief, we have a sort of tough guy, Christian Kane, and then we have Noah Wiley, who plays the sort of legal kind of fixer. So it's a fun, family, entertaining show that's the story of the week every episode. So you can just kind of jump in anywhere with the show, which is one of the things I love about it.
And it just looks like it's so much fun for all of you to work on, in particular this character of Sophie. So how do you see her? And because she seems like, she's got an amazing sense of humor. She can be a bit of a chameleon. And what was it like returning to her in this second season?
Well, I'm really glad you picked up on her humour, because people that watched the show last season will realise that she was sort of grieving, and there was a sort of dark cloud hanging over her. She was kind of trying to find her way in the world again. But this year, she's got her confidence back. She's in her groove. She's really kind of thriving in the role of the mastermind. And I get to be sort of goofy again, not as much as I'd like, because that really is my happy spot, when they give me lots of kind of comedy goofball stuff. But we've got a few episodes where I get to get my sort of funny chops out again, and I really enjoy that aspect of her.
And I feel like as well, I quite enjoy kind of the contrast of being the Brit and bringing that maybe particular wit and sense of humour that we sort of pride ourselves on, and in contrast to some of the other cast, some of the other characters. So is that something you could play with as well?
And this year is a bit of the invasion of the Brits, because Sophie's kind of arc through the season is that she has someone come up from her past who she let down in some way, and they've basically come back into her life and they want that debt paid. And so then there's a bit of an invasion of the Brits. I don't know if all our guest stars have been announced yet, so I'm not going to say names, but there's like 4 or 5 really good British actors who are stepping up, and I go head to head with Sophie, where she has to kind of deal with all this collateral damage. And we're playing 3 episodes. New Orleans is playing London, which is always kind of funny and challenging, and and it's quite good being this familiar with because on some jobs you wouldn't walk in and go, no, that's not right, that's not how people in London dress, or that post box doesn't look right. But because I know them all so well, I have that sort of shorthand where I can go, no, I think it should be a bit more this or a bit more that. But it is fun it's a challenge to get New Orleans to look like London, that's for sure.
And what about working with your fellow cast? Because I love the fact that it's kind of an ensemble, isn't it? And you sort of developed your characters together as a group. And what it's like working with Christian Kane, who I've spoken to before, just seems like an all-out lovely guy, and a lot of fun. And of course, Noah. What's it like working with your fellow cast?
Well, I've always really enjoyed being in an ensemble. My other big show that I'm known for in the UK was Coupling, and there were 6 of us. And so that's been my groove always. I've never been the person that's wanted to be like front and centre. And in a way, I've got that in common with Sophie, because she sort of like wants everyone to have their moment in the sun. But yeah, you're right. We've known each other for a long time now. We've all had, many of us have had kids, babies. We do have a shorthand. And like with Christian and I have a really good shorthand, and Beth with comedy moments. So we'll come to a scene and we kind of go, well, I don't think my gag works here. I think you should have a gag here. And we kind of pick at the threads a little bit of our scenes and like get the balance. And Christian and I have really good chemistry when it comes to doing like physical comedy together. And we get to do a little bit of that this season, which is always really fun for the fans. We're always like really nagging the writers' room, saying, all right, more comedy for me and Christian. But actually, we both have. He's got quite a serious storyline this year, and hopefully next year, if we keep nagging them, we'll get more and more comedy.
Definitely. And in terms of, I love the fact, as well, taking on, different subjects and different issues in each episode. Was there one episode that you particularly enjoyed, or a particular scene, or one that was challenging? Were there any standout moments from the shoot?
I mean, there's plenty of bad guys to pick and choose from. Who would have thought that, we've done over, I mean, if you count the first iteration of Leverage, we've done 106 or 107 episodes, and the bad guys just keep coming, and all you have to do is open a newspaper these days. But this year I had particular fun taking down a woman who's the sort of similar age to Sophie. She's the top of a sort of pyramid scheme. And she really rates herself as someone who can read people. And she reads Sophie brilliantly, and she picks at all her vulnerabilities. She finds all her sort of weak spots. She finds all her Achilles heels. And that was a lot of fun, because what I got to do in that case is I got to use all of Sophie's vulnerability and all of her pain to take down this woman. I used it rather than kind of reacted against it. So that was a lot of fun.
And I guess the other thing to say about a series like this is, though there's a lot of comedy and there's a lot of fun and there's, the heist kind of criminal aspect, it is touching on real world issues that are really important. And it's kind of, you're sort of sneaking them in some ways, into to getting people to think about that, the waste that put into our oceans as one example. So is that another aspect that's an appeal for you, and hopefully comes out as the impact of the show?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we all thought about when the show started all those years ago, but we didn't realize, we knew that was a good hook, and obviously that's what engaged all of us in the show. But I don't think any of us, really saw how much it did impact people watching the show, that you can sit down with your kids, and you're not watching the news, you're not being told about all the plastic, all the awful things that are happening in the world, and all the pollution, all the corruption, and all the exploitation, in a way that is sort of, depressing. We're depressed enough already. So to be able to sit down and watch a family show with your kids or family members that have those issues, and but not having it sort of rammed down your throat, and that the everyman always ends up kind of winning. It's kind of a privilege, really, because I think that the reboot kind of proves that there was a sort of there was a kind of want for this sort of, that aspect of the show. I think doesn't take itself too seriously, and yet it's sort of holding a mirror up to the world and going, this is the imbalance that we're living in.
And certainly as well in shows like this, and maybe this is kind of the beauty of now of all the platforms and TV, has kind of opened up opportunities for different types of characters, and particularly leading roles for women, women of colour, women of different ages, that maybe was a bit narrow, say, just if you were looking at Hollywood. So do you think that's also something that's great that comes out of series like this, and more opportunities? Have you seen the industry change in the breadth of your career?
I mean, I'm so proud to be in an ensemble that's got 3 leading women in it, and we're all so very different from each other, and we all kind of celebrate each other. And obviously I'm on the kind of older side of that. So to be sort of front and center, I just feel unbelievably lucky. I was dusting off my acting chops, but yeah, and the fact that she can still be sexy and vibrant and sassy and all of those things that you haven't really seen that much of in terms of leading ladies of my age, and I love all of that.
One of the great things that really stands out about the show is the fact that it has this incredible diverse cast, and all these amazing female characters of different ages. And do you think that's one of the appeals for you, but also one of the great things about TV nowadays, that there does seem to be all these incredible opportunities for new kinds of roles?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's been a long time coming, and I think there's still a lot of work to do, and I'm still seeing too many shows the Old Man with Jeff Bridges, and it was great. There were lots of old actors, and they had an age-appropriate woman in that role as well, and so that was new, because I think in the past that would have been a younger woman. And so I do think, I mean, there's plenty for everyone. So there's stories for everyone, and I think yes, with this many platforms now, that we don't have to be like so confined. And also, I think that it's a myth that young people aren't interested in with kind of older characters as well. We have so many interesting discussions with Elise, who plays Brianna, and hopefully some of that translates onto the screen as well.
And for you, have you got any itches left to scratch in terms of roles you would love to do, people you'd like to work with? What do you see for yourself next?
Well, I would like to probably create something for myself at some point. I'm working on a script with an actress friend of mine at the moment that we're writing for ourselves, and hopefully we'll find a home for that. And I just love the idea now that so many people are creating content for themselves, and I definitely like to get. I don't see myself directing because I'm not such a visual person, but I'm very involved with the scripts on this show. I have a really good relationship with the writers' room and with our showrunner, Katie Roick, and I like tweak a lot of things, and I enjoy writing. I've done quite a bit of journalism, so I think that hopefully that's next for me.
And so do you think that, we have seen progress in the industry, or have we still got a way to go? And what do you think that needs to change, if anything is going to?
I mean, I think definitely, given the changes in diversity, I think Britain was really leading that charge in theatre for a long time, where there was colourblind casting in theatre for a long time. But then I think the US took over in terms of what we saw on screen. So I think that, the Brits are getting better now at showing more diversity on screen, especially in period productions, which I embrace. We saw that in the theatre for a long time. So I'm all in. And also, I've been told all my career, you can't be in a period piece. You're too exotic looking. You can't wear a corset. You are not an English rose. And I just think, it's all about imagination. It's just entertainment, and let's just have fun with it and find a place for everyone.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with me. I really can't wait for everyone to get stuck into this incredible second season of Leverage Redemption. Thanks so much.